Now, the provinces. The Mauryan Empire was divided into four provinces with the imperial capital at Patliputra. From Ashokan edicts, the name of the four provincial capitals were Toshali, Ujjain, Swarnagri, and Takshila. Each province is under a prince or member of the royal family, Kumara or Aryaputra, apart from the metropolitan area which was directly governed by the emperor. Now next topic is economy during Mauryan Empire. The mainstay of the economy under the Mauryas was agriculture. Though trade was becoming increasingly more important, it would seem that cultivators formed the majority of the population and taxes on agriculture were the main source of revenue. The Arthashastra refers to a state monopoly of mines and the manufacture of salt and wine. According to Megasthenes of arms, shipbuilding and manufacture of arms were royal monopolies. Slave labor was employed in the mines and factories. Megasthenes also refers to six board of astrogamy, some of which were entrusted in these duties. The state derived its revenue from seven main heads, that is, fortified towns, countryside, mines, building and gardens, forest, herds of cattle, and roads. Now, society during the Mauryan Empire. Different aspects of society during the Mauryan period have been described vividly in Indica and the Arthashastra. According to these books, the upper classes, that is the Brahmins, the Kshatriya, and the Vaishyas, enjoyed privileged positions in society. Majority of people were farmers. They were also artisans, herdsmen, soldiers, and magistrates. People of all castes lived together peacefully. Now, art and architecture. After the Harappan period, the next stage of the Indian art began in the Mauryan period. Mauryan art reached perfection during the reign of Ashoka. Ashoka paid special attention towards art and architecture. The remains of stupas, stone pillars, and monasteries reflect the mastery of the Mauryan craftsmen over stone. The palace of Ashoka was made of stone and wood. Stupas were dome-shaped structure while relics of the Buddha or Buddhist monks were kept. The stupa at Sanchi near Bhopal is known as the Great Stupa. The surface of the stupa was generally built of bricks with a thick layer of plaster. It was crowned with an umbrella of stones. The monolithic pillars of Ashoka on which his famous edicts were inscribed are great monuments of the Mauryan period. The Ashokan pillars were made of sandstone. These were beautifully polished. According to some historians, these pillars have a Persian influence. The most striking feature of these pillars is the finely carved animal figure at the top, called the lion capital. The most famous pillar is at Sarnath near Varanasi. Four lions sitting back to back and facing the four directions are carved on the top of his pillar. Below each lion is a wheel or chakra. The lion capital is now the national emblem of the government of India. The wheel or chakra has found a place in our national flag. Now the Ashoka Dharma or Dhamma. Ashoka Dhamma, which is the Pali form of the Sanskrit word dharma, was a set of moral principles. Now, main principles of Ashoka Dhamma. Number first is respect of elders. In one of his edicts, Ashoka says one must obey the father and the mother. In the same way, a student must show respect to his teacher. Number second, proper treatment of young ones. Elders, superiors, and officers should be polite and kind to their young ones, inferiors, and subordinates. Number third, ahimsa. Ashoka not only forbade the slaughter of animals but himself gave up hunting and flesh eating. Number four, tolerance. In one of his edicts, Ashoka says one should honor one's own sect but should not condemn other parts. Number next, truthfulness. A man should speak the truth at all times. It is better than performing religious ceremonies. Number six, charity. One should give education to the illiterate, money to the poor, and knowledge of the Dhamma to everyone. Number seven, pure life. Ashoka favored a pure and simple life. He said anger, cruelty, pride, and jealousy are great sins. Ashoka and Buddhism. Ashoka occupies a high place in the history of Buddhism. In the beginning, he led a comfortable and luxurious life and indulged in all sorts of merrymaking. But the suffering and bloodshed of the Kaling War of 261 BC brought about a great change in his life, and he became an ardent follower of Buddhism. He now devoted all his time, energy, and vast resources for the spread of Buddhism in and outside India. Ashoka took many steps to spread Dhamma. Number first, he himself set an example before his people and gave up hunting and eating meat. Number second, he engraved the principles of his Dhamma on rocks and pillars so that all could read them carefully. Number third, he used Pali, the language of the people, to carry his message to all corners of his empire. Number four, he directed his officers to follow these principles and preach his religion among the common people. Number six, he appointed Dhamma Mahamattas, whose duty was to improve the general life of his people. Number seven, Ashoka himself toured his empire and visited holy place. Number 8. He sent monks to preach the religion of the Buddha to far off countries. His own son Mahendra and his daughter Sangmitra went to Sri Lanka. Number 9. Ashoka called the third Buddhist council at Patliputra to remove differences among different groups of Buddhists. He did many work to spread Dhamma not only in India but in many countries. His Dhamma was a code of moral duties, benevolent acts, and freedom from passions for an individual. It comprised personal, social, and moral virtues. The principles of Dhamma were such as could be acceptable to people belonging to any religion sect. Number next is occupations. In that period, most of the people of the Mauryan Empire were farmers. There are evidences of other groups such as artisans, herdsmen, carpenters, porters, goldsmiths, blacksmiths, etc. A large number of people were employed in the army of the king. Some worked as government officials. Now, trade and economy. Trade flourished during the Mauryan period. The traders organized themselves in guilds. Both inland and overseas trade flourished. Patliputra, Ujjain, Takshila, and Broch were important inland trading centers. Caravan traders carrying large quantities of goods moved from one part of the country to another. Trade relations with other countries such as Sri Lanka, China, Rome, Egypt, etc. were maintained. All traders had to pay taxes and custom duties depending upon the value of their goods. Now, the Mauryan army. The Mauryan had a large army. The army was under an official called Senapati. He was the army commander. He was responsible for the warfare and maintenance of army. The Mauryan army included infantry, cavalry, elephants, and navy. The army was equipped with bows, arrows, swords, armor, shields, etc. The army defended the kingdom from external attacks. It also maintained law and order within the empire. And the officers and soldiers were adequately trained and regularly paid. The Great succeeded to the throne of Mauryan Empire after the death of his father, Bindusara in 273 BCE. His coronation, however, took place in 269 BCE, after when he defeated his elder brother Susima. During his reign, Mauryan dynasty reached the height of its glory under his rule. He was the most popular ruler of the ancient India. H.G. Wells describes him as one of the greatest rulers in the world he has ever seen. He made good relations with many countries. Now, taxes. Land revenue was the main source of income for the Mauryan government. It was fixed between one-fourth and one-sixth of the produce. The tax depended on the fertility of the soil. Forest, mines, customs, trade, crafts, as well as fines and gifts were other sources of income. A system of water tax and road tax is also mentioned in the Arthashastra. The money collected through taxes was spent on the maintenance of the army, payment of salaries to government officials, charities, building works, and on public utility services such as building roads and hospitals. The priests and monks did not pay taxes. Sometimes tribute was collected from different classes of people. Unlike taxes which were collected regularly, tributes were collected whenever the royal authorities found this necessary. Tributes were mostly paid in kind. Ashoka. Ashoka the Great was an Indian emperor of the Mauryan dynasty. In this dynasty, we see that Ashoka ruled almost of the Indian subcontinent from 268 BCE to 232 BCE. Ashoka promoted the spread of Buddhism across ancient Asia, considered by many to be one of India's greatest emperors. Ashoka expanded Chandragupta's empire to region over a realm stretching from present-day Afghanistan in the west to Bangladesh in the east. It covered the entire subcontinent except for parts of present-day Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Kerala. He is remembered for the Ashoka pillars and edicts, for sending Buddhist monks to Sri Lanka and Central Asia, and for establishing monuments marking several significant sites in the life of Gautam Buddha. His Sanskrit name Ashoka means painless without sorrow. In his edict, he is referred to as Devanam Priya, beloved of the gods, and Priyadarshi means he who regards everyone with affection. This fondness for a tree is the reason for his name, connected to the Ashoka tree, and this is referenced in Ashoka Vandana. In the outline of history, H.G. Wells wrote, amidst the ten of thousands of names of monarchs that crowd the columns of history, their majesties and graciousness and sensitives and royal highnesses and the like, the name of Ashoka shines and shines almost alone a star. Now, what were the reason of the decline of Mauryan Empire? The Mauryan Empire began to break up after the death of Ashoka in 232 BCE. Though it survived for another half a century, it lost its strength and glory. A number of causes contributed to the decline of the empire. These are briefly discussed below. Ashoka was succeeded by a series of the weak rulers who were not able to control of the vast empire. Mutual discord and disunity among royal siblings and contributed to the decline of the empire. Number next is the empire had become too big. It became difficult to control the provinces located far away from the center. Gradually, they became independent. Number third, the empire became financially weak. The army and administrative machinery was large. Salary needed to be paid to the soldiers and other officers. It demanded a large expenditure. Number 4. The taxes could not be collected properly and timely. Number 5. Ashoka policy of non-violence and tolerance dissatisfied the Brahmins. The popularity of Buddhism due to royal patronage too had reduced their income, so they revolted. Number 6. The officers became corrupt, which affected the entire administrative system. Do you know, student, the last Mauryan ruler was Bridehartha. He ruled over a small area. In 185 BCE, his commander in chief, Pushyamitra Shunga, revolted and killed him. Thus, the Mauryan dynasty finally came to an end. And Pushyamitra Shunga laid the foundation of a new dynasty called the Shunga dynasty. Okay, student, thank you.